Well, hello. Today we're going to go over sudo and setting that up. So let's get into, I need to create a new instance. I have one that's running right now. I've deleted everything else. Every once in a while I go in there and just delete it because I don't want to have too many. I have one that's doing some hashing. Not going to create a video about that. Anyway, so we're going to launch an instance here and AWS Linux. Let's just say sudoers. We'll call it sudoers. Sweet. T3 micro's fine. Keep pair. I'm going to use my main one. Existing my launch wizard that I've been using. I tweaked it a little bit in the past and launch. Sweet. So I'll have a system that I can play with. And this system right here, we'll use the DNS. Once again, you can use the DNS or the IPv4. Either worked. So let's come to a command line. SSH ec2-user, since it was Amazon Linux, at and the host name or IP address, and get in, and happy day, I'm there. Now, one of the things I realized I haven't done much in my videos lately is run updates. And I usually do that when I do it regularly. So sudo yum-y update. You can also do it with DNF. And you can see it's actually already running, because when Amazon Linux first starts, that's one of the things that it does when it first instantiates, when it's created brand new. So there's nothing to do. So if you saw my video where I did Ubuntu, that was not the case. It had lots to patch. Okay, so but you also see that it was still running the updates while I was logged in. Okay, so cool. Now for today, we need to create some users. And we're going to be doing a lot of things as root today. And I know you're going to be tempted to just to do this. sudo su dash and become root. And we might end up doing that, but I don't think it's a good idea. The reason why is because a lot of organizations don't let you do that. They want to document really well what you did as you. And it's a little harder to document. You can still see who the true person was, but it's harder to lock down the root user once you've sudoed to them. So it's just easier to let people have specific sudos. So we'll exit out of root and back as EC2 user. So if we look at ls-ltrah/, we can see that temp here has special permissions, okay? And there's also, there should be another one with an S. Oh, Etsy shadow. ls-ltrah/Etsy. So if you look here at Etsy, and shadow. Why did I do ls-lh/. /Etsy. Okay. I listed it in order of time, not in order of name. So here's shadow. Oh, it's changed. Where's one with that nice little S? Let's look at there's also one that's red. Let's look at that one. So those are links that are broken? No, these are links to the grub. Right, oh, did I see one? Well, I'm having a hard time seeing one. So we might create one ourselves. One more place that one will look. ls-l user bin, because I think wall is that way, but I think they're changing some of these. So updates happen and things get better. So, well, no. Cool. I think they're removing that. So, running things is, oh, right here. Sticky. So, this is sticky to the user. The user is root. So when people run the umount command, it runs as root, not as them. Sweet. We found one. There's still one. Happy day. There's a couple others. Sudo and su. Those both have sticky on root. Now, you could also do sticky to the group. Is that true? I'm not seeing any, so now I'm wondering. It's harder to do sticky than it was in the past. We used to do sticky frequently, but there's security issues with it. So we don't do it much anymore. Let's see. So let's go to, well, let's look at ls-ltrah home. And this, I'm just a creature of habit. That's my favorite flags. So long in order of time, reverse, all, so it shows the hidden files and the dots, and human readable, so if it was big enough, these would say gig and stuff. Anyway, creature of habit. I do things the way I do things. Okay, so let's see. I don't have any users in here to play with. Let's create a user, a temp user. Sudo useradd temp user. Now if I do ls-ltrh/home, we can see there's a temp user right there. Okay. Let's do sudo useradd tmp user. ls-l trh home. See, there it is. Okay. So what if I need to get rid of those? Because we should use least privileges. So only the users should exist that are needed. Maybe these temp users, they've came, they've helped us, and they've gone. Not the best naming. We should give them proper names, but that's okay. This is an exercise. So we're going to do userdel temp user sudo. And let's also do sudo userdel -r tmp user. Okay, now if I do ls-ltrh/home, I can see this one's still there, but the ID that what used to be here, temp user, is gone because the user's gone. It's off the system. It's no longer in Etsy password, Etsy shadow, but that file still exists. The -r, when I used it, got rid of that home user of this one. So that one's gone. But this one didn't get rid of, and the user and the group that created it is now gone. So we just have a weird thing going on. So let's just do sudo rm-rf home temp user. Now, be careful when you're using that command. I tell my students a story about someone who ran it on the root of a database and then walked out. rm-rf is very powerful. Be careful. If anyone ever tells you to do something like this with /, they're just being silly and kind of a jerk. Don't do it. Maybe we'll do it one of these days in a video. It doesn't, I think they have protections around it decently now. It's harder to do. I've done it in a video. It's been a long time, but I should do it again. Okay, so let's add some. So first, if we're going to add a bunch of users, we probably want to give them a group. And since we're going to be doing sudo, let's do this with security. And so we'll do sudo groupadd security. See if I can spell right. Okay, and now I'm going to do sudo useradd -G security, and we'll add TOA. And let's just do the same thing for Melly. And let's do a lowercase g for Soli. And another uppercase G for Vasa. And let's do another uppercase G for Aiko. Okay, cool. So we have a bunch of users. With those users, if we do ls-ltrh/home, we can see that, hey, they're all here. We can see their names and stuff. But if you look, this one right here has security. What did we do different for Soli? If we look here, we did a lowercase g instead of an uppercase g. Okay. Let's see what that did. So if we sudo cat, in fact, let's just do tail. We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We created 5. -n. We'll do 7. Etsy password. We can see that here, Toa is user 101 because we deleted one, and group 102. Then we'll look at groups. 102, 103, 103, 101. So Soli was given the group of 101 of security. I gave it to these others, but in a different way. So let's look at groups. Etsy. Is it Etsy group or Etsy groups? Group. Cool. So we can see here's EC2 user, here's security, and it has Toa, Meli, Vasa, and Aiko listed with security because I did them as an uppercase G. So it was a secondary group, okay? And then the primary group, so they have theirs here, but when I did the lowercase g for Soli, the primary group for Soli was never created, okay? So let's see. Now let's come into the home directory. And we can see everything there. And let's create a folder for these users to use. So sudo mkdir home security. Okay. Had to make sure I spelled it right. That's sad. And let's make so that only root, so that root's the, in fact, ls-ltrh. So if we look here, it's owned by root and root. But it really, I want to give everyone in the security group access to this. So let's sudo chown root : security home security. Sweet. ls-ltrh. We can see now it's root security for that folder. So now root has read, write, and execute. The group has read and execute, so they can get in and they can see things, but they can't delete things. They can't create new ones. Cool. Maybe we should let them do that though. So sudo chmod 770 home security. So remember 770. That's because read, write, and execute are just numbers. 1, 2, and 4. And you just add them together. Okay. Let's just show that really quick. So sudo touch temp, sudo touch tmp, and we can do so ls-ltrh, and if we do sudo chmod 1, 2, 4 temp and sudo chmod 1, 2, 4, I can't do 7. We'll do 7, 5, 3, TMP. Because we just add them together, okay? So we see 1 is execute, 2 is write, and 4 is read. And if we add them all together, so we did 7, 5, 3, so 7 was all of them, 5 is 4 plus 1, and 3 is 2 plus. Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Up here, this line. So yeah, read, write, execute 7, 5, and 3. Sweet, good. Always good to be on the right line. Cool. So just remembering the numbers. Let's do this. So let's cd into security, permission denied, because I do not have access. Sudo user mod ec. One sec. Sudo user mod. We're going to add a group. So we're going to do uppercase G, so it's a secondary group. Security and group name, so it's ec2-user. Enter. So now if we look at tel-n7 etc group etc group, we can see ec2-user has been added. So we should now be able to cd into security, permission denied. Root security. We are, let's exit. Let's log back in just for kicks. Home. There we go. Cool. Now that we're back in, so for some reason I had to log out and log back in because of the mod of the group. So that was probably in fact, probably in my environmental variable. So if I echo, oh dang it. I hate when I go blank. Okay, let me look really quick. It's environment. env. So it might be in here, it might not. Anyway, logging out, logging back in, fixed it. So yeah, it wouldn't be an environment available because I can change these. So somewhere else, doesn't matter. But the environment's good to understand because there's all the path information. This helps me understand how things are going. But we'll digress. Let's get back to what we were doing. So we're in home security. And if we look, it's empty. So in fact, ls-la, so you can see my dots. Let's create some files. Let's echo. Let's do this. That's vi echo underscore melee.sh. And we're going to do echo. Why do I usually think I do like username or something? I'm just going to say echo here for now. If I echo, let's see, env. Let's look at env again. So my username is usually somewhere here. Maybe it's in a couple things. Log name. Let's echo that. So if I echo $log name, it should say who I am. Sweet. Let's do that instead in the file. vi echo melee. So we're gonna echo. My camera's in the way. Imagine that. Echo log name. Okay. So now I have this to echo my log name, right? But if we look, it's not executable. Now, so if I try and run it, /echo echo underscore melee.sh, it's going to say permission denied. Even if I sudo command not found. So I can do /bin bash echo underscore melee.sh, and it will run. But we don't want to do that. So we're going to sudo chmod, and we're going to give group plus executable. You'll see why in a sec. Well, let's do user. U plus executable echo melee. So now if I do /echo melee.sh, it runs. Sweet. But if I try to do this as root, sudo, will that run? Since root can do everything, it can. But if I try to do it as a different user, we'll get there. We'll get there. And let's do one more thing. Let's do, so instead of echo, let's send it somewhere. vi echo melee, shift A, and we're just going to set it into home. Oh, we're going to have it, we'll have it append. So remember, the first one writes a file, but it overwrites it. If you do two of them, it writes to the file, and if it already exists, it puts it at the bottom. Okay, so we're going to append, and we're going to do a log.text. That's what we'll call it. Okay. By the way, if you don't know VI commands, there's a video that goes over the VI earlier in the playlist. There's also a great website that teaches you how to use VI. It's awesome. VI is very powerful. It's awesome. Most system administrators know how to use VI or something like Intuit. If you don't use VI and you're using something like Nano, that's usually because you're more of a developer, you're not a system administrator. So just be mindful. System administrators usually use a more powerful tool. Nano and things like that, like it, are not as powerful. Okay, so echo melee. Let's see, where am I at? Let's do if we, so look here now. So if I do echo melee and do ls, I'm going to see there's a log. So if I cat log.text, we can see it. And if I sudo echo underscore melee, it wants the // or it'll probably get cranky with me. Okay, cat log.text, we can see there's EC2 user and root. Cool. So let's do this. So if we chmod, let's do chown, sudo chown melee security echo melee.sh. Okay, so now if I try and run it, ec melee.sh, it's going to say permission denied. So what I want to do, ls-ltrh, we've changed this to be owned by Melee and the group is security. Let's add executable to group. So sudo group plus g plus executable. So you can use the numbers or you can use the letters for security, remember? Echo melee.sh sudo, but I need to chmod it. Cool. I caught it before I ran. That's all that matters. Cool. So now we have that group can execute it in group security. So, and remember, I put ec2 user in security. So now I should be able to do /echo melee.sh ls-ltrh. Oh wait, no. I want to look at the log. Tell log.text. We can see ec2 user ran it. Happy day. Now sticky, we should be able to set it sticky to user. And I'm trying, let's see if I can, my mind's going a little blank. So I'll try and remember that as we go through. But if we, in the past, we could set sticky to the user and then it would always run as Melee. So we'd see Melee in the log. There's security issues there. So they don't let you do it on scripts anymore. If I remember how to do it, we'll test it really quick. But it's a security issue. So the other thing is that I see as a problem is this log. When it goes to get written to, it's right now ec2 user, so it's not going to work. So we need to change this log to allow writes from other users and the group security. So let's sudo chown, and we're going to do root : security log.text and sudo chmod because it's going to need write if they're going to run it, and it's going to log to it. Chmod group plus write log.text. And I actually would oftentimes remove read so they can't see what is going on. They couldn't, yeah. But that's okay. There's other things that you'd really want to do. So now, we should be able to /echo melee, and we'll tell log.text, and it works. Sweet. Now let's become TOA. sudo. Oh, before I do this, give me just a sec. Okay, sorry. I was thinking, can I do this as root? As sudo, and I'm not going to be able to do everything as sudo. But if I look here, I remembered, so we can do sudo chmod u plus s to set the sticky on echo melee. And now if we look at that, it's going to show there's the s, it's sticky. Now it's not going to work anymore. Like I said, security issues, but that's okay. And we're going to have to become root. So for this next part. So we're going to do sudo su dash to become root. And we want to look at cd etc ls sudo star. So we have here, there's a sudoers conf, a sudoers, and sudoers.d. So let's look at cat, no, let's do less. less sudo.conf. And this is a config file for going and setting up sudoers. And there's a lot of cool stuff here. So I'm just going to hit J to go down. That's a VI command. And as we look here, there's some things I want to point out. So you can actually, oh, did I miss it? Maybe it's in. Well, let's look at the very bottom. Let's look at the next file. I'm probably looking at the wrong file. VI, sorry, less sudoers. This is the file. Okay, so this shows you how to set things up. So for example, aliases. You can do aliases here. There's command aliases, networking, installation. There's a really good part I want to show you just down a little bit. You should get familiar with this file. So in the olden days right here. So allow root to run any commands anywhere. Allows people in the will group to run all commands. So we used to throw people in the will group just so they could do stuff. Not the safest way to do things. But what's really cool here is I want you to say, hey, see this read drop-in files? So here's an include-dir. So this is one point when the bash up front is actually not a comment. It's special. It's actually doing an include-dir that's etc sudoers.d. So let's look at that. So cd sudoers.d. So it looks like there's only one thing here right now. So if we cat 90 blah blah blah, and we can see, look, this is EC2 user allowing it to do all. Sweet. That's kind of what we're going to do. I wouldn't change the sudoers file because that might get updated with a patch. I also wouldn't change this file because it's managed and controlled by Amazon, or they created it at least. I'm going to just copy it. So copy this to security. And now, oh, by the way, we shouldn't have used VI for sudoers. I'll show you that in a sec. We probably shouldn't use it here either. But we're going to. Okay, so we have security there, so VI security. And all I want to do is, instead of users, I want this to be % for group security. And now we don't like security, so we're going to get rid of the no password. We're going to make them use the password even though we don't, because they annoy us and we want to show them we're secure. So we'll make them, oh, and I need to. Sweet. So now if I cat security, we can see that there's security and all. And with this, with this security, I did the %. So let's just look at the sudoers file again. So less .. /sudoers. Okay. So remember when we looked at will? So right here, it says allows people in group will to run all commands right there. Same thing without passwords. So they did the no password all. We just got rid of the no password. Okay. So we'll let security, we're letting them run all commands. Now you can actually let them run a group of commands, and that's what most places do. They set up a specific group, and they allow groups to run different commands. They don't allow you to run everything. Least privileges. It's the right way to do it. Now I've intentionally haven't done anything. It's something specific, but I wanted to show you. Let's go back up. I could search for up. but let's just search for VI. It mentions here, this file must be edited with VI sudo. The reason why is because if you make a mistake in here, your system's going to be toast. You're not going to be able to become root. So don't make a mistake. And I think that's including in sudoers.d. So they have a specific command to check and not let you exit if you made a mistake. So if you use VI, you can kill your system and you're not going to be able to get it back. Or at least it's not going to be, you're not going to be able to fix things because you won't be able to become root. Okay, so cool. We've done a lot of stuff so far. And some stuff is root. So let's get out. And before I log out of root, let's do history so I can, history, I can't spell, history, there we go. Happy day. So I will include that in the video. Now let's exit out of root and let's become toa, sudo su-toa. It wants the password for EC2 user. I made a mistake. Okay, sudo su dash, and I've killed the system. Happy day. Anyway, we've set up a VI sudo a folder in fact, that's Control C. So we've set up our folder. We have the file there, but we can't test it because we killed our system. So I'll be deleting this. If you noticed, we did the password. Oh, and the reason why the system's dead is because I put EC2 user in the security group. And so now it's checking for password even though it's in the other one with no password. So I did make a mistake editing the file, but I made a mistake with adding EC2 user to the group. So usually what I have people do, log in as TOA, test running it. They can't because it's asking them for a password. So we give TOA a password so that they can run it with the password and show that it works. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Destroying your system when you're learning is a good thing. It's called a learning experience. I hope you've enjoyed this. We'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.